Since the dawn of humanity, witches have occupied a unique place in the collective imagination, permeating myths, legends, and folklore around the world. Their origins trace back to ancient pagan practices, where wise women were revered as priestesses and healers. However, throughout history, the figure of the witch underwent a sinister transformation, culminating in the rampant persecution and witch hunts during the Middle Ages. In this introduction, we will explore the various facets of this enigmatic figure, from its mythological origins to its modern reinterpretation, highlighting its role as a symbol of power, mystery, and resistance throughout the centuries. Part 1: Origins and Mythology. Pagan Priestesses. The origins of the witch figure date back to ancient pagan practices, where wise women played significant roles as priestesses, healers, and spiritual advisors. These women were respected for their connection to nature, their knowledge of medicinal herbs, and their abilities to foresee the future. Mythology and ancient folklore. In many cultures around the world, we find stories of female figures associated with magic and the supernatural. From the witches of Greek and Norse mythologies to the shamans of indigenous tribes, witches have played diverse roles, from benevolent helpers to sinister antagonists, depending on cultural traditions and popular beliefs. Transformation in the Middle Ages. With the rise of Christianity and the spread of fear of the supernatural, the witch figure began to gradually transform. Women who were once revered as healers and wise women became demonized and accused of pacts with the devil. The Catholic Church played a crucial role in this shift in perspective, promoting the idea that witches represented a threat to the established social and religious order. Symbols and mystical practices. Throughout history, witches have been associated with a variety of symbols and mystical practices, such as smoking cauldrons, magic wands, flying broomsticks, and invocation rituals. These elements have played a significant role in shaping popular imagination about witches and have contributed to the perpetuation of stereotypes over the centuries. Part 2: Witch hunts and persecution. Historical context. The period of witch hunts and persecution reached its peak during the 16th and 17th centuries in Europe. This was a time of political instability, religious conflicts, and social changes that contributed to the spread of fear and paranoia regarding witchcraft. Causes of persecution. Several causes contributed to the emergence and intensification of the persecution of witches. This included the influence of the Catholic Church, which viewed witches as agents of evil and a threat to ecclesiastical power. Additionally, economic crises, natural disasters, and epidemics were often attributed to witchcraft, increasing fear and hysteria surrounding magical practices. Judicial processes and torture. Witch trials were often marked by unfair and abusive legal procedures. Women were accused based on dubious testimonies and confessions obtained under torture. Torture methods included whipping, drowning, the Isolde's bridle, a device to prevent speech during torture, among others. Execution and consequences. The consequences for those deemed guilty of witchcraft were severe. Many were sentenced to death by hanging, burning at the stake, or other brutal methods of execution. The witch hunts resulted in the deaths of thousands of people, mainly women, children, and social outcasts. In addition to loss of human lives, the persecution of witches left a legacy of trauma and injustice that echoes to this day. Part 3: Transformation and Reinterpretation. Advancement of science and rationalism. With the advent of modern science and the decline of the Church's influence, belief in witchcraft and magic began to wane. Scientific explanations for natural phenomena replaced supernatural explanations, and the view of witches as agents of evil was gradually challenged. Emergence of feminism. In the 20th century, the feminist movement brought a new perspective on the figure of the witch. Many feminists reinterpreted witches as symbols of female power, autonomy, and resistance. Instead of being seen as threats, witches began to be celebrated as protectors of nature and custodians of women's ancestral knowledge. Resurgence of pagan spirituality. The resurgence of interest in pagan spirituality and alternative practices also contributed to the transformation of the image of witches. Neo-pagan movements, such as Wicca, celebrated the traditions of ancient priestesses and emphasized the connection to nature, magic, and the divine feminine. Representation in popular culture. Contemporary popular culture has also played a significant role in reinterpreting witches. Movies, TV series, books, and other forms of media often portray witches as complex and empowered characters, challenging stereotypes and inspiring new generations of women. Legacy and impact. The transformation of witches from demonic villains to symbols of female power and spirituality has left a lasting legacy on contemporary society. The figure of the witch continues to inspire social, cultural, and spiritual movements, challenging gender norms and promoting acceptance of diversity and female autonomy. So, that's today's video. If you enjoyed it, subscribe to our channel to always receive updates and leave your like. Until next time.